Good Wednesday afternoon, and welcome to this edition of the St. Mark Spark. Today is Wednesday, April the 22nd, and it is Earth Day. So you may be celebrating in some way Earth Day by planting a tree, putting in seeds in your garden, taking a walk through a local park, perhaps getting out and taking an extra walk around your neighborhood. Today in our daily reading lectionary, one of the passages comes from the book of John. So hear the word of the Lord. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes to make it bear more fruit. You have already been cleansed by the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me you can do nothing. Whosoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch and withers. Such branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. You may have started to get a picture of some of my likes and dislikes in the fictional world, and I am sort of a fantasy science fiction lover. I do like the movies The Lord of the Rings. I do like the movies Harry Potter, The Hobbit, and those sorts of things. Another favorite movie of mine is the movie Pandora, which came out a number of years ago. And on that planet, Pandora, the people called the Na'vi have a unique way in connecting with their spirit god. Their spirit god is Ewa, and they are able to connect with Ewa most closely when they are in nature, when they are one with nature, when they are touching the plants, when they are climbing and flying through the trees. And there's this one specific tree called the Tree of Souls where they meet, they gather, and they go to when they want to be deeply and most closely connected to their god, Ewa. And reminded me of the Garden of Eden and the Tree of Life and the Tree of Knowledge. And though those two things are not a good or a very good close analogy in many ways, it just reminded me of how connected we are with the earth that God has given us to live in and to tend for. Now, as I mentioned, today is Earth Day, and you may be out doing some sort of Earth Day thing. One thing that made me smile here in the last couple of days is that I read an article that the Forestry Service of the country of Iceland has strongly suggested that people go out into the forest and hug trees. Now, it might make you giggle because there's a negative connotation or a goofy connotation associated with the phrase tree hugger. And there is some science, however, that shows that being out in nature, that being among the trees, that being in the grass and around the flowers and in God's world, including hugging a tree, does tend to reduce stress and make us feel more connected to our world around us, to lift our spirits. And really, there's this chemical called oxytocin, I think, that is released when we hug a tree. I do want to read you something so that we can become more aware of what the term tree hugger means or where it originated from. So I'm going to read this to you from a site called journal.gateway.house. It says, who were the original tree huggers and where did the term come from? The first known tree huggers were Bishnoi, living in Kajadli, India in 1730. Foresters came to fell the trees on their land, and the wood would have been used to build a palace. But the Bishnoi weren't willing to lose their sacred trees. In response, Amriti Devi led a physical protest. She wrapped herself around the tree to stop the foresters from cutting it down. And the story goes that as she hugged the tree, the foresters attacked her and the trees with their axes, and she, refusing to compromise, stated, if a tree is saved, even at the cost of one's head, it's worth it. Soon, 363 other Bishnoi had sacrificed their lives for the trees. Only then did the foresters admit defeat. Though we make fun of it, the people in India were trying to save the trees. They were sending a message that they were connected to these trees in a spiritual way and that they were important to them. There is science out there that proves that every living molecule vibrates, that they have their own specific vibration. That includes human beings, it includes animals, it includes plants, and everything around us has its own energy, its own vibration. And so I wonder if the Na'vi on the planet Pandora didn't have a more keen sense of that connection to nature and how it keeps us happy and healthy and keeps us more connected to our spiritual selves. So be blessed today. Go out into the world, enjoy nature, enjoy God's world, God's planet, God's gift to us. And if you feel so inclined, even hug a tree. Bless you, and I'll see you again soon.